Good evening. The date today is Monday, June 24th, and the time is 5:30 PM. And we are going to start out our regular work session with an update from our Chief of Staff, and that's Mr. Brian McCain. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you, ma'am. First off, there's a temporary housing emergency shelter declaration. Mayor Graham issued a declaration of temporary housing and shelter emergency for the city of Pueblo beginning Monday, June 24th. It commences at 3 PM on Monday and ends at 7 PM. And again on Tuesday, June 25th, effective 12 PM and 7 PM. Wednesday, June 26th is the Colorado Bike to Work Day from 6:30 to 8:30 AM. There's a free breakfast stop in the SRDA parking lot for community members to stop on their bicycle ride to work. And from 4 to 6, there is buy one, get one free beer at Fuel and Iron for bike from work happy hour. Plastic recycling resumption details effective July 5th. Pueblo Recycle Works will accept clear #1 plastics. This includes clear bottles and jars made from PET. These items are commonly found as soda bottles, water bottles, and certain food jars. However, the following plastics will not be accepted at this time: #1 clamshells and similar containers, colored #1 plastics, and other plastics, such as type 2, type 5, and others remain outside the scope of accepted materials for now. And that concludes my update.
All righty. Well, thank you. Also, I would like to announce tonight we're going to be swearing in our newest council member, Mr. Councilor Brett Boston. And so I'd like to welcome him this evening. At the regular meeting, we'll be swearing him in. Also, do we have anything else from anyone on council? Okay, great. So we'll start off with our first guest. We're going to talk to the folks from the Nature and Wildlife Discovery Center. They canceled?
Yeah, Councilor Maestro, they sent an email a little while ago with the fire that's burning.
Oh,
They
okay.
felt they shouldn't come tonight.
Okay, then is Black Hills Energy here and ready? Great. Then we'll go ahead and we'll move to our next guest, which is Black Hills Energy. So Campbell and Mike, please introduce yourselves and we'll get started. Thank you.
I think you're reading your button.
How about now? Coming in loud and clear? Very good. Well, good evening. Thank you, Mayor, council members, and the Pueblo community for having us this evening. Since there are likely some new faces in the room like me, I would like to briefly introduce myself and the company. My name is Campbell Hawkins, and I'm the Vice President of Colorado Utilities for Black Hills Energy. I'm responsible for both the electric and natural gas businesses in the state. I joined Black Hills Energy on March 11th of this year, and I live in Pueblo. I'm a 20-year industry professional that has seen the business across investor-owned, municipal, and cooperative business models, both inside Colorado and outside Colorado. Prior to my utility career, I spent time in competitive energy markets and as a business owner after serving our great country as a U.S. Army helicopter pilot. We're here to discuss our company's first rate review in 8 years to adjust for the rising cost of operating, maintaining, and upgrading our Southern Colorado electric system. Bottom line, it's costing us $36 million more each year to serve our customers than it did 8 years ago. And that's roughly about $20 per residential customer, average residential customer. I'm joined here by Michael Harrington, our Director of Regulatory Affairs for Colorado. And we have a brief 20-minute presentation we would like to share using the following agenda as the guide. Since much has changed since our last rate review, we will first zoom out and see the impact that Colorado's energy policies are having on Pueblo, and then we'll zoom in on the rate case specifically. Mike and I will then answer your questions. But first, I'll lead off with a safety moment. I thought this particular safety moment was relevant because I know that the city also performs dangerous work. And so I thought we'd share with you some of our latest thinking on safety. We are increasing our focus on preventing life-altering incidents using this energy wheel as a guide. For example, at 12 o'clock on the wheel, gravity represents the risk of something falling on you at home or at work, causing serious injury. And as you move around the wheel, you can appreciate how these other conditions could lead to life-altering events as well. Early on, we used the wheel to help our crews identify and prevent risk from these conditions before starting the job. And we would be happy to share more about how we plan to incorporate this energy wheel strategy into our broader safety management system when time allows. But for now, let's jump in. We have significant material to cover in a brief time. And so if it's okay with you, we would respectfully request that you hold your questions until the end. As many as you know, Black Hills Energy has delivered safe, reliable energy to Southern Colorado communities, including Pueblo, Canyon City, Rocky Ford, and throughout the Arkansas Valley since 2008. Our team serves over 100,000 customers across the region. And our team consists of 136 local employees, including members of the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 667. I want to acknowledge up front that we understand that we have some of the highest rates in the region, and we appreciate what that means to our customers and the region's economic vitality. Believe me, we get it, and we don't like it either. Our rates are regulated and based on the cost to serve, and they are not artificially inflated for profit's sake. While little consolation, I know, there are good reasons why our rates are higher today than others today. It is principally because the power supply for Pueblo around 2010 was at risk, both in the short and long term. Wholesale energy markets were either underdeveloped or unavailable to us at the time, even if we thought it was prudent to pursue this strategy. We also needed to invest in the local transmission and distribution system that needed repair. Something needed to be done, and someone needed to make that investment. We made the decision to invest in and secure our customers' power supply by building the Pueblo Airport Generating Station, or PAGS, that went online in 2012. And that started our energy transformation much sooner than others. We closed our Canyon City coal plant due to the state's clean energy goals. The PUC looked unfavorably at our proposal to bring lower cost coal energy from our plants in Wyoming to Pueblo. And relying upon market energy solely was risky, if not impractical. Just consider for a moment the power prices that hit when Winter Storm Uri came through the region. Insufficient hedging strategies for this unexpected storm put some utilities into bankruptcy. Buying power is no walk in the park, even for experienced players. Let us now look briefly at the changing energy landscape and how it is impacting Pueblo. Right or wrong, policymakers in Colorado and around the world are mandating that utilities shift away from lower costs but less clean coal-fired generation in favor of cleaner burning natural gas and renewable energy. We started this transition over a decade ago when we closed our Canyon City coal plant, built PAGS, and the wind farms just south of us. Our generation fleet is now coal-free. Most recently, in 2019, the governor signed into law Colorado's Clean Energy Plan that requires Black Hills Energy and other utilities to reduce their greenhouse gas emissions by 80% by 2030. Many of you have already been briefed on our Clean Energy Plan separately. Briefly though, our preferred plan calls for 400 megawatts of new wind, solar, and battery storage facilities in the region that will come online as early as 26 and 27, and that meet our emission reduction targets. Based on the comments during the PUC process though, the wind project may be replaced by another Pueblo County solar energy project, possibly bringing more opportunity to the area. These costs, to be clear, are excluded from the rate review we are currently pursuing. Gone are the days where the electric system is purely a linear model, one where generation from a central plant that is transmitted and then distributed locally. The modern day grid must accommodate bidirectional energy flows where customers are both producers and consumers of energy as they install rooftop solar systems and battery storage devices and drive electric vehicles, all again with the goal of decarbonizing the electric grid. Throw in the rapid growth of businesses powered by data centers and artificial intelligence, and demand for our product is growing even faster than before. All of this is driving over $1 trillion of investment in transmission and distribution across the nation. Bottom line, this energy transformation is requiring utilities of all types to invest in their systems and raise rates. For example, I just read a June 6 article in the Colorado Springs Gazette where the CEO of the municipal utility noted in his State of Utility address that they need to double or triple their capital investments, up to between $450 and $800 million to maintain much of their current infrastructure and meet new state and federal regulation for clean energy, among other things. Translation, their customers can expect higher rates going forward as well. This announcement is but the tip of the iceberg. Other state utilities will soon be making similar announcements. Black Hills Energy has consistently maintained that other in-state utility rates will rise as these utilities must retire their aging coal-fired generation fleets, make new investments, and meet state clean energy mandates. We stand by our view as evidenced by the Colorado Springs announcement. Make no mistake about it though, scale matters in our business. Larger utilities can spread these investments over a larger customer base that mitigates rate impacts. We may have been early to the party out of necessity when we invested in PAGs, but we were not wrong. We now operate one of the cleanest generation fleets in the states, and we made these investments in 2010 rather than 2024 dollars. Other state utilities must follow our lead in 2024 dollars and beyond. Starting around 2027, Pueblo will be powered principally by renewable energy, with PAGs and new battery storage facilities providing reliable power for when the wind does not blow and the sun does not shine. By doing so, PAGs continues to play a critical role in the region's energy security. When all complete, Black Hills Energy will be the state's model for how to decarbonize an electric system. Our goal is to be a responsible energy partner for Southern Colorado. Being a responsible partner means keeping the lights on, being a good corporate, community, and environmental steward, and being transparent about the cost of Colorado's energy transition and asking for what we need so we can provide our customers and communities with the safe, reliable, and sustainable energy that they require. With those opening comments, let's zoom in now on the rate review, and I'll turn it over to Michael.
Okay, thank you, Campbell. As you mentioned, my name is Michael Harrington. I'm the Director of Regulatory for Black Hills Energy. So I'll zoom in a little bit and talk specifically about the rate case and what we've proposed. On June 14th, a few weeks ago, we filed the rate review with the Colorado Public Utility Commission to update our base rates. It's been approximately 8 years since we last went through this process. Since that last process, we've had to work, we've worked to maintain our customer bill stability, tightly managing our budgets, managing our costs. However, we've had to continue to make investments into the infrastructure. We've also had to address several new policy objectives coming from the state. Policy objectives like the Clean Energy Plan, like transportation electric vehicles, energy efficiency, beneficial electrification. Our state policymakers are pushing us into a direction of decarbonizing our electric grid. We've continued to make investments into the infrastructure, and coupled with rising cost due to macroeconomic inflationary pressures, we had to make the difficult decision to raise our customer rates and file a rate review with the PUC. As Campbell mentioned, we're very mindful of the cost impacts to our customers, which is why we have waited 8 years to file a rate review with the commission. However, the downside in waiting 8 years is that the cost accumulate year over year, leading to an overall 18% increase as we've proposed. While our base rates have not changed since 2016, you can see on the chart here, from the Consumer Price Index, various goods and services have increased over the last 8 years. And our company, our business is not immune. We are also subject to inflationary cost pressures, as many other organizations are. We thought we'd spend just a couple of minutes talking about how the PUC process works and how we ultimately set rates. As we began this process, we had a few objectives in mind as we were preparing our filing for the PUC. The first step is to analyze our cost of service. Our rates that we charge our customers are based on cost. So the process starts with a detailed analysis, reviewing all of our cost items. We call that a cost of service study. The second objective was we wanted to take a holistic review of our rate structure. Over the years, our bills get pretty complicated, and now is a good time to simplify where we can our bills. And so one of the things that we have proposed to the commission is to eliminate our inclining block tier rate and instead implement a flat energy charge for all kilowatt hours. We also want to provide customers with options. We know that there are customers who have different needs, and providing customers with some options is important. And we are introducing a new optional time of use rate that's going to be available to all of our customers if they are interested. The goal of time of use rates is to encourage customers to shift their energy to off-peak hours where energy is cost less. The PUC process is highly regulated. It's open, transparent, very rigorous process. It takes about 9 months to go through the entire process. PUC follows an administrative law process. Essentially what that means is we have expert witnesses come in to testify. There's evidence presented. We have parties, different parties will intervene in the proceeding. Typically we have parties from the commission staff, consumer advocate, Colorado Energy Office, various environmental organizations, low-income advocates. City and County of Pueblo has participated in the past. Some large customers have participated in the past. It is an open, transparent process that a lot of stakeholders get involved in. There will likely be customer or opportunities for customers to provide comment to the commission. The commission usually holds those in person. They're also holding those remotely lately. There will be opportunities for customers to voice their opinions to the commission. The PUC commissioners will ultimately debate and decide the final rates. The role of the PUC commissioners is to fairly balance the interest between the company and our customers. And at the end of the process, the commissioners will ultimately decide what the final rates will be. The rate making process, as I mentioned, begins with a review of our cost. And so we take a look at our historical cost. We call that the cost of service study. Now the pie chart there, you see that we typically refer to it as a phase one. What that does is it looks at what is the total cost to serve our customers. From there, we do a detailed study that breaks apart our cost by customer class. So how much of our cost is attributable to residential customers? How much to small commercial? How much cost is attributable to the industrial customers? So then we allocate and decide which costs are appropriate for each customer class. That customer class cost responsibility is the baseline for how we determine the rates. Broadly speaking here, when we look at our cost of service, it includes things that you would typically see in most businesses. Our labor costs, we have salaries and wages and healthcare. We have contractor costs that we use for various parts of our business, insurance, taxes, tools and equipment, various things that you would typically see in a business, we have as well. And we have experienced cost increases over the last 8 years for those. Second aspect of our cost of service involves the infrastructure investments that we have made. Since 2016, we have invested over $370 million and plan to invest an additional $98 million in 2024 into our electrical grid. Again, as you can see on the pie chart here, a lot of our distribution, 50% of our investments is spent on distribution. So these are things like pole replacements, upgrading substations, replacing aging transformers, line improvements. And recently, we've also had to enhance our efforts on vegetation management, really protecting our equipment from encroaching vegetation. This slide here shows the proposed customer bill impacts for an average residential customer and an average small commercial customer. As you can see on the slide here, the proposal that we've made with the PUC would result in a $20 per month increase for an average residential customer and approximately a $25 a month increase to a small commercial customer. The results of the total increase, as Campbell mentioned earlier, would equate to approximately a $36 million annual revenue increase. This annual increase, again, is necessary to recover those operating and maintenance expenses, like we mentioned, and also to recover the $469 million infrastructure investments we've made. Now I'll turn it back over to Campbell, who will discuss how we plan to support our customers and our communities as we go forward.
Great. Thanks, Mike. As you mentioned, we're going to turn our attention to how we plan to support our communities and customers. We're planning an extensive 3-part community and customer engagement plan that includes 1, outreach, information, and education to our community leaders. 2, education for our customers about how to use less energy. And 3, assistance with helping connect income qualified customers with bill payment assistance. First, we'll discuss our plans and answer questions and presentations to community and business groups here in Pueblo and throughout our service territory in the coming weeks. We also welcome the opportunity to keep this council, the county commissioners, and other elected officials and community leaders updated on our rate review proceeding. We fully expect to see you all back in this chamber regularly, and we welcome that. Second, it's important to note that a majority of a customer's bill is based upon the amount of energy used. To help customers manage their energy consumption, we have a robust energy efficiency plan, which provides rebates and incentives to install energy efficient measures. Reducing energy use and improving energy efficiency is the most practical step that we and our customers can take in the face of higher cost. And we will build on our excellent energy efficiency programs we already have in place. And third, we will make sure all customers, especially residential customers, understand bill payment options and where to go for assistance if they need it, such as our Black Hills Energy Assistance Program, Colorado's Low Income Energy Assistance Program, or LEAP, Energy Outreach Colorado, and community-based resources here in Pueblo. Additionally, we plan to increase awareness of our budget billing, payment arrangements, and other programs that help customers weather tough times and get back on track. We also want to make sure you're aware of a new initiative that will support income qualified customers across our service territories, including here in Southern Colorado. Our new company-wide energy assistance team will focus exclusively on ensuring local income qualified customers receive their share of assistance dollars from federal, state, and local agencies. Let me offer a few closing comments before Mike and I answer your questions. Our goal is to serve as a responsible energy partner for Pueblo and Southern Colorado, delivering safe and reliable energy while modernizing our grid and making it more sustainable and resilient. We have an obligation to meet Colorado's aggressive greenhouse gas reduction goals while balancing those efforts with the need to support and advocate for customers to avoid non-essential cost. It's clear to everyone that all electric utilities and their customers here in Colorado and across the country are working through the transition to a cleaner energy future. And while that is appealing, it also comes with a price tag, and we are fully aware of the impact on our customers, which we have worked hard to postpone and minimize. Our commitment to Pueblo is to continue to invest in our community through support for nonprofit partners, to support our customers, including through our energy assistant and customer service teams, to show foresight in planning for our region's energy future, as we did when we closed our last coal plant 12 years ago, to help the city and county achieve their clean energy goals, and to be a steady, reliable energy partner that helps our community thrive, including economic development efforts. Our team wants to earn the right to continue to serve Pueblo and the Southern Colorado region for many years to come. Now, Mike and I will be happy to answer your questions. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, gentlemen. Anyone from council? Counselor Flores.
Thank you for that presentation. Is there any way of knowing, either through industry statistics or just your statistics, as to how much of an increase all of the laws that have been passed in the last 10 years regarding carbon reduction, moving away from coal? Do we know what that percentage is or that number is?
I can take a shot. It's difficult to quantify that percentage. But our state is very aggressive in decarbonizing many industries, not just the electric industry, but from transportation sector, buildings, electric. There's a lot of policies that we have to face at the Capitol, from building electrification and energy efficiency policies. So it's hard to quantify, but it is, there are significant policy that add cost to our customers.
But you don't have a percent. It's hard to identify that.
I think it's tough to probably isolate that. I think, one signal from the Colorado Springs Municipal Utility, if you took a look at that investment over their capital base or their revenue streams, maybe one indicator, but certainly trying to arrive at a national number on that would be probably tough.
Yeah, you've both been to a restaurant that serves fish, as an example, and the menu on fish is constantly changing based on the market value of the fish. That's right. And I always think of my utility bills as having that built within it, and that you guys are seeing a variety of increases in purchasing, because you also are a customer as far as purchasing energy. And I'm wondering, as I understand, that's built in. And so that's a fluctuating number that goes up and down. Could you kind of explain how that works?
Yeah, sure. We make regular purchases on the market. We purchase energy when it's most economical. We have agreements in place where we can buy energy on the market. The energy side of our business is handled through a separate surcharge. So as we talk about energy purchases, that comes through customer bills. There's a line item we call the energy cost adjustment, or the ECA. And so as prices of natural gas prices fluctuate, you'll see that energy cost adjustment fluctuate with the price of gas. Same with market price energy. So we have that mechanism to kind of reflect how those prices are handled.
For example, when the geopolitical situation with the Ukraine war happened, to your point, Councilmember Flores, natural gas prices raised dramatically, right? And we had to pass that along through the energy cost adjustment that Mike just talked about. But since then, natural gas prices have moderated significantly, and then we adjust our energy cost adjustment accordingly.
Yeah, because I always think of the example of that ice storm in Texas.
Yeah, Uri.
Where they got nailed on prices, where people were getting bills in the thousands, not in the hundreds.
Absolutely. When that storm hit, power prices, to your point, went up to thousands of dollars per megawatt, and it put a cooperative utility that I'm very familiar with into bankruptcy. So you're right. That's what I mentioned. Buying power is tough, right? Even for experienced players, you need to be a savvy participant in that.
My last question has to do with the $98 million investment. Can you give us a sneak preview of what that is? What are you going to be?
Yeah, Mike can speak more about this, but this continues to be investments into the transmission and distribution systems, upgrading substations, upgrading poles, wires, and the like. So it's kind of the bread and butter of the utility to make sure we provide safe and reliable power to the region. And Mike, I don't know if there's anything else you want
No.
to add to that.
You know, nothing else to add. Yep, that's it.
Thank you.
President Ayla.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you guys for the presentation. It's the second time I've heard it. And as you know, I have a plethora of reservations and a plethora of questions and things that bother me that I know we're not going to be able to get through absolutely everything that upsets me personally and my constituents, but we'll try. Very early on in the presentation, you stated that none of the rates or anything are inflated for profit, and they're all set and everything else like that, but you're not a nonprofit. Your company is a for-profit company, and your company is on track to make over $500 million this year. So you are a for-profit company. And the one piece of this that really bothers me is PAGS. Because when PAGS was built, we were sold the idea that when this generation happens, it is going to create for the city of Pueblo a windfall, if I remember right, of everybody catching up. We're going to have PAGS in place, so on and so forth. The ratepayers paid for PAGS, correct? And then we talk about not for profit, but on the FERC filings, and just to keep it in an easy to understand manner, PAGS isn't owned by Black Hills Energy of Pueblo, right? It's owned by a subsidiary of Black Hills Energy, correct? That subsidiary produces a unit of energy for $1, sells it to Black Hills Energy for $7, and then you sell it to the ratepayers for $14. But yet that seems like a profit strategy to me that is on the back of the citizens of Pueblo. So we were under the understanding that this was going to be a great thing for Pueblo, and all PAGS has done is the ratepayers built this station, and we've got no benefit from it whatsoever, other than we are going to be at the levels that we're supposed to be at for emissions and things like that. But for at least 15 years, we've been told that at some point, the rest of Colorado is going to catch up with Pueblo. We've made these investments in solar. We've made these investments in PAGS. We've done all these things ahead of time. And to your own admission, you guys have done a fantastic job of that. But we're still 48% higher than the entire Front Range. You brought up Colorado Springs, and you said they're going to have to invest in their infrastructure. But even if they invest in their infrastructure, because I believe they're probably 60% less than us, even when they invest in their infrastructure, they're going to be less than us. So it begs the question how a $20 a month or an 18% increase, and actually on the filing, isn't it a 26% increase on residential? And you're moving some money around from some other places to reduce it. Was that in the filing?
We've proposed to mitigate the customer bill impact for residential customers.
But it was a 26%.
Yeah,
I think.
if you recall back to the slide where we had the pie chart of the different customer classes, the residential customer slice actually had a bigger percent increase than the rest. And we decided to mitigate and reduce the residential customer class impact.
So what does the PUC call the class of customers that don't make a lot of money? They're not disadvantaged. What's the name?
Income qualified, maybe?
Not income qualified either, but there's a name that the PUC uses, and I can't remember that name. Do you remember that name?
What's the disproportionate?
Was it disproportionate? Is that
Disproportionately impacted communities?
correct?
Yes.
And is it true that 66% of Pueblo is under that guys?
The state is still trying to determine the exact definition, so we don't have a clear definition yet. But I would say,
Substantial.
I would say it's a substantial amount of our customer base would fall under a disproportionately impacted community.
So bear with me in the sense that 66% of our community, give or take a few percentage points, is in this disadvantage. They call it disproportionate, but I like to call it disadvantaged in this disadvantage deal. And our community partners, Black Hills Energy, says, well, we understand that, but we're still going to try and get through a 20%, 18% increase on our residential rates that are already such a big percentage over the rest of the state. It's almost unfathomable that Black Hills Energy would ask for this big of an increase to make this happen. And quite frankly, you haven't asked for a rate increase in 8 years, and you're still making a ton of money. So, I mean, where's the balance? Where's the balance? And I hope as we move forward and we get into this, I know the city is taking going their way on this, but hopefully I want to bring forth a resolution that where we file with any kind of city protest, where city council we can't do this to our community, and you can, but I don't think as a representative of the community, we can sit here or I can sit here. I'm not going to speak for anybody else on the dais, that I can sit here and say, I think this is a good deal. I think you guys should go and get all the money that you believe that you deserve. But I'm not, and if the role of the PUC is to find balance and the effect on rates on customers, I mean, we should get a reduction in rates for what we've been paying over the last 15 years, as opposed to this increase and this exorbitant increase that's being asked by Black Hills Energy. And then I'll just close with this. I guess it's maybe like like anybody in retail sales or anything, you guys ask for it all and take what you can get. So you go to the PUC, you ask for 18%, and maybe if you get 5% or 8%, you guys will be happy. But any percent puts additional hardship on our constituents, and I don't think that it's right. And that's all I have, Madam Chair.
All right, thank you, President Aliff and Councilor Gomez.
I'm a lot less eloquent than Mark. We're getting soaked. I'm sorry, what you guys are doing, and I'm not blaming you. You're just the messengers. But when you talk about just for small business, another $300 a year, topped with all the extra, which is paying for water, with another probably $150, it's got to stop. And $500 million in profit. I'd like to know, you talk about 4.1 million for bill payment support. What does that mean exactly?
That one, the 4.1 million we talked about in our presentation is really dedicated to our energy efficiency programs and how we can help customers make sure that their homes, that they're using energy efficient appliances, their weatherization. And so we have a program, our energy efficiency program provides opportunities for those customers to help them manage their energy consumption.
4.7 for qualified paybacks. What does that mean? Income qualified payback. What does that mean?
If you help me, which slide are you referring to?
About 15.
Oh, thank you.
Income qualified. If you're not income qualified, what happens?
We have additional programs too for non-income qualified customers, regular customers.
And how much of a pot of money is that?
Our total energy efficiency budget is close to $7 million.
Okay.
And that's available to all of our customers who can take advantage of these programs and measures. We have dedicated funding for income qualified customers.
How much money do you actually give to your customers when it's all said and done? If you get $500 million, I'm not that smart. Get $500 million in profit. What are you giving back to your constituent, to your people that are paying the bills? What do you actually give away and give back to your customer?
Yeah, we do have a percent of our corporate profits that go to.
What percent?
I don't have that number off the top of my head,
You've
council
never
member.
had this question before?
Certainly, but I don't know that number right now. We can get back to you on that.
10%, 5%?
I don't know that. We can get back to you, council member. We just don't know that number right now off the top of our head. But these programs that you're illuminating here are programs that are designed to help the most disadvantaged in our community. And it's really, as the slide says, it's kind of neighbors helping neighbors, is that all ratepayers contribute to these funds that are then reallocated to help the most vulnerable. And that's kind of the essence of it. And we do offer a certain percentage of our profits to worthy causes. I just don't know that number off the top of our head.
The income qualified part gets me
Yeah.
because what happens if you don't qualify? They're just out of luck. That's
Yeah,
it. They get lose their lights. That's it.
Well, we have a robust program that includes.
What does that mean? You have a robust program. What does that?
But
mean?
we have, like Mike had mentioned, we have a series of energy efficiency programs that are designed to help customers use energy more efficiently, thereby
Okay.
reducing their bill. And we have other bill assistance programs like payment arrangements or bill assistance programs to help them meet their monthly obligations.
And are you moving towards electric vehicle energy places you can hook up? Are you doing that now?
Well, certainly the state has programs and goals around energy efficiency or electric vehicle programs that are requiring us to invest in that decarbonization of
those
electric grid.
Electric vehicles aren't selling. that whole program is going to the toilet pretty much.
Well,
You are aware of that.
yeah, I understand that. But we have to comply with, kind of the state policy goals and guidelines, and that's what we're doing today.
All right, thank you.
Okay, anyone else?
Me,
Counselor Latino?
thank you. Is my understanding that in 2010, you inflated your rates with PAGs. The proposed rates are insane versus other utilities. Many have already many already have 70% plus renewables. I have some real concerns, guys. I really do. And I think, as you've heard, there's others here that have the same concerns. I'm a no BS kind of guy. And I think there's been BS being presented to this community for a while. And I think it's time to stop. I know you guys are in Cheyenne, Wyoming. I know that for a fact because I go to Cheyenne a lot. I have family there. I don't know what the situation is there. Cheyenne's smaller than Pueblo, but again, everything that you've projected here and everything that you've said is paid for by the customer. Okay? Now, I'm not saying that you don't deserve a rate increase in your pay. I'm not saying that at all, nor do the employees. But again, it's way above where it needs to be. And I can't support that. And I won't support that.
Okay. All right. Received an email today from a constituent, a lot of questions, a lot of comments. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy and paste it into an email and send it to you, gentlemen, and I'd like for you to answer it. And that way I can forward it back to that constituent.
Sure.
Okay.
Be happy to.
Alrighty. Let's see, anything else? Okay. Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you for your time.
Yep. Thank you.
Next, we're going,
Madam Chair,
yes.
I move that we go into executive session for the purpose of determining positions relative to matters that may be subject to negotiations, developing strategy for negotiations and/or instructing negotiators under CRS Section 24-6-402, parent 4, parent E, parent I. And the following additional details are provided for identification purposes. The possible purchase lease of office space, and for a conference with the city attorney for the purpose of receiving legal advice on specific legal questions under CRS Section 24-6-402, parent 4, parent B. And the following additional details are provided for identification purposes to discuss pending litigation relating to ordinance number 10698. No adoption of any proposed policy, position, resolution, rule, regulation, or formal action shall occur at any executive session that is not open to the public.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Could I get
Well,
a second?
I'll second.
Thank you.
And we'll be heading into the conference room. Thank you. The time is now 6:57 and we are adjourning the work session. We'll be back at 7:05.